love him, hate him, however you feel about him. You talked about him this year. You heard his name somewhere this year. He has done so many things. It's crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Capotis. Happy holidays, fam. Happy New Year, all the things. It feels so good. This is our last episode of the year, so I'm very, very excited to be bringing you so much music in this. This is our annual Best of EDM. I think I've been doing this since year one of the podcast. If not, I kicked it off in 2020, but this has been an annual episode, and it is near and dear to my heart because we just get to talk about music, and that is what we are all here for. That is what we all love. That is what I am passionate about, dance music. So yeah, welcome to the Best of EDM, Best of Dance Music, whatever you want to call it, 2023. I am so excited to be sharing with you guys the music that defined the year for me as well as you. That is right. I took tons of submissions from you guys. You guys filled out my survey, and I have a lot of feedback from you as well. So we're going to be diving into all of that, but I just wanted to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, you guys. I hope you have an amazing New Year's. Be safe. Don't drink and drive, all of the things your rave mom would tell you. But before we dive into the episode here, we've got to share a word from one of our sponsors, Loop. So Loop earplugs are my essentials that I use at every Raven festival now. They make the most high quality, high fidelity earplugs. And specifically, I want to talk about the experience earplugs because those are the ones that are meant for festival goers and for live events and concerts. So these are the Loop earplugs right here. In your case, you get a little carrying case, and you get interchangeable tips to fit your ears perfectly. So these are headbang proof, they're shuffle proof. I've tested them out. They do not fall out of your ears. They're really awesome. And I like the style of these as well. They come in a bunch of different colors, and they have different drops. These are in midnight black because I like to have a black earplug, but these are incredible, you guys. So what these are going to do is protect your hearing from damaging levels of noise. So these have a patent acoustic channel that filters the noise. So there's not going to be any muffled music. You're going to hear it clearly, but it's going to protect your ears up to 18 decibels of noise reduction, which is incredible. So you just pop these in, you twist them, you're good to go. And again, these are the experience ones. So they are particularly meant for live events, which is perfect for you guys. So I have a link down below. You can click on that, use it to purchase your earplugs, browse all the other ones that they have, and you will get a discount when you use my link. I promise you, you will see a noticeable difference in your live events experiences when you wear these. I've compared these to other earplugs on the market, and these ones to me have the most noticeable protection, and the quality is absolutely incredible. So I love these ones, the Loop earplugs experience edition. Check them out, link down below. Show them some love and support. Very excited to have them as a sponsor of the podcast. All right, let's dive into our Amnesty bin. So if you are new here, our Amnesty bin is our new segment that we're doing. These are anonymous rave confessions that you just drop them off. I pick them up. I read them anonymously. We all enjoy it. And then we move on. So if you guys have any rave confessions that you need to get off your chest, email me at raveculturecast@gmail.com. Can put whatever you want in the email, PG-13R, whatever you want to do. I'm excited to read them. So this one says, from anonymous sender, the vodka hit me way too hard, way too fast one time, and I ran to the closest trash can, but I couldn't bring myself to puke in public, so my husband watched me swallow it and then handed me some gum and water, and we never discussed it again. So I probably should have put like a warning before I said that one for anyone who's squeamish, but you know what? It's off your chest. Okay, you guys never have to discuss it. I'm discussing it now on a podcast in front of however many people, but you know what? We move on. You handled your stuff like a champ, and then you continue to go and enjoy your show, I hope. So that one hits a little hard. That does not sound like a good experience, but thank you so much for writing into our Amnesty bin, guys. I want to hear your stories. We've got some pretty crazy ones coming up. You guys do not hold back. So again, send your confessions in to raveculturecast@gmail.com. Alrighty, it's time for the music. Okay, let's do it, you guys. So we have the same categories I do every single year. I always do my top artists of the year. And I have I'm doing the top 5 in all of them. Otherwise, we would be here for literally forever. But for the artists, I do have honorable mentions because there were just like too many good people to talk about. So we've got top artists. Then I'm going to talk about breakout stars. So these to me are people who had a massive impact this year, whether, none of these people have just like come out of nowhere. They've all been hustling for years and killing it. But this year, 2023, like you've heard about them, you've seen their name somewhere. They had a huge year. They made a big impact on dance music. That's how I think of the breakout stars. Then I have top tracks. I don't care if this episode gets copyrighted. I want to include music in this episode. Hi, Ollie. My dog came over to say hi. So I'm going to play for you the top tracks for sure. And I also made a playlist. I forgot to mention that, you guys. There is a playlist which was really fun to put together because now you guys can hear everything I'm talking about. And there's just so much good music from all of the genres. So the Best of EDM playlist will be linked down below. So we'll talk about the top tracks of the year, the top collaborations, the top albums, and then I'm going to read your submissions that you guys sent in. So that is everything. I'm going to do a bonus episode because it was just too much to put into this episode. My artist to watch is one of my favorite lists to do all year. Like I just have so much fun throughout the year. I just like add artists that I find who like are on the verge of blowing up or I think they're going to blow up, and I put them in a playlist that's private and I hold on to it throughout the year. And this year I had 20 artists that I want to talk about because there's just too much talent and it would make this episode too long. So to be continued, there will be a bonus episode within the next week. That's going to be my artists to watch in 2024. So I'm really, really excited for that one. Okay, so those are all of the categories today. So let's kick things off with my top artists of 2023. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So I'm going to do my Spotify because Spotify is different. Like Spotify pulled what I listened to, like obviously on Spotify, but my personal list that I put together is different. But according to Spotify, my top 5 artists of the year: Rufus Du Sol was 5, Dom Dalla was 4, Elderbrook was 3, Odessa was 2, and Illenium was number 1, based on everything that I listened to. So my personal list is a little bit different than that. I'm going to start off with my number 5 artist of the year. So I put down Fisher. Fisher had such a massive year, music-wise, career-wise, collaboration-wise. 2 of his tracks this year, Take It Off and Atmosphere. Like Atmosphere hit number 1 on the dance music radio, like absolutely took off. I would say they were viral hits of the summer. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing them. I absolutely love both of these tracks, and I just felt like they were so massive this year, and I'm a big fan of Fisher, and his live sets are so much fun. He also has his project with Chris Lake. They do their under construction shows, and they shut down Hollywood Boulevard this past fall, and it just shows the power of dance music, of house music, and, on top of that, he's playing residencies in Ibiza, in Las Vegas. He launched his own festival called Trip Festival in Malta, which looked incredible. So he had a massive year, but music-wise, like I just feel like those 2 hits were just absolutely huge. And when I was like looking at my top artists, I was like, oh God, I just really loved Fisher this year. Like those were 2 of my favorite songs that came out. So Fisher is our number 5 artist of 2023. Coming in at number 4, I have to go with my girl LPGOB. I just like looked at her past year when I was doing research for this episode, and I was like, the accolades under her and all of the different things that she touches and does is absolutely crazy. So not only did she release her debut album, which is beautiful, called Light Places, she did a whole tour with that. She also released an official remix of one of Taylor Swift's tracks, which I remember when she posted on Instagram, and I was like, holy shit, this is an official remix, like Taylor Swift tagged her in it, like it's incredible. That was such a huge collaboration that she did in a remix that she did. So that was like absolutely massive. She's also the co-founder of Femme House, which is an educational platform. Every show on her Light Places tour included a free Femme House workshop. And she's done this in the past. I think it's absolutely incredible. So, future producers, engineers, women or non-binary folk in dance music can go to these workshops and learn. I know they also do like giveaways and other sponsorships and things like that. So absolutely incredible what they're doing with Femme House. she opened for Swedish House Mafia. I didn't even like notice this originally, but on their stadium shows this year in South America, LPGOB opened Swedish House Mafia's stadium shows. So like she fucking did everything. Like there's like absolutely nothing she can't do. Her track Time Expands is one of those like latecomers that I discovered like later in the year, but I love it and I can't say enough good things about her. She's an absolutely beautiful soul, an amazing person. Her energy is infectious and she deserves every bit of success coming her way. So LPGOB hands down had to be in the top 5, 100%. Okay, number 3 for me was Dom Dalla. Now, he was my number 1 last year. He is a personal favorite of mine. Again, speaking of beautiful souls with infectious personalities, like Dom Dalla is one of the nicest people ever. I had the pleasure of interviewing him on Insomniac Radio at EDC in 2022, and he is so nice in person. Like, everything you picture him as in person, he is like literally just as nice and sweet, and like can't say enough good things about him. So he just had such a huge fucking year. So from the beginning of the year, starting off with his collab with MK, Rhyme Dust that came out, his track Saving Up, which was like a little bit of a different kind of vibe for him. Like he just has such an infectious modern house music sound with all different influences to it. His collaboration with Nelly Furtado, like that was a big storyline this year that I talked about in the episode last week, like the biggest moments in the news, like his collaboration Eat Your Man with Nelly Furtado, like all of the sets they performed, the surprise performances at Lollapalooza, like it's been really cool seeing them collab all year. He's had sold out shows at Red Rocks, Brooklyn Mirage, like major venues across the United States. He won GQ's Australia's Solo Artist of the Year. He, I believe, was nominated for 6 ARIA awards. He got his first Grammy nomination this year for Best Remix, the recording of New Gold, the Gorillaz track. So, like, again, just absolutely incredible height of his career. It's been amazing to see him, like, blowing up. His music's incredible. He's an incredible person. He's got all these amazing things going on. So Dom Dalla, amazing. Then my number 2 artist of the year is gonna go to Skrillex. How can it not? You know what I mean? Like, how can it not? It was like the return of Skrillex this year. The man dropped 2 albums, both like amazing in their own right. I feel like Quest for Fire was more like my cup of tea, I would say. That to me was like what I wanted to get out of Skrillex, but like elevated. The collaborations on that were incredible. Like Hydrate for me in particular, I want to get everybody's name on here. It was Peekaboo, Flodem, and Beam. That was a favorite of mine. Rumble, obviously, with Fred again and Floden, and then Ratata, the Missy Elliott sample track, all fantastic. So I loved Quest for Fire. And then his other album, Don't Get Too Close, came out this year as well, and that had a lot more, that to me was like more chill listening. It had more like hip hop and rap influences and collaborations on it. So 2 albums out of Skrillex. He goes away for a while. He comes back with 2 albums. We love to see it. He played every major show you can think of. He did pop-up shows. He played an insane show with Fortet and Fred again at Madison Square Garden, a 5-hour set at Red Rocks. Again, Fortet, Fred again, and Skrillex were booked to play Coachella like literally days before because Frank Ocean had to drop out. And they had the most like electrifying experience, and everything happens for a reason. So I'm so glad that they did that. But it really was like the year of Skrillex, and it's amazing to have him back in dance music. So he is my number 2 artist of the year. So that leaves us with 1. And this one, guys, like I honestly felt pressure to pick it because I know people are watching, and I don't want that to like affect what I pick or my personality, but I know this one could have been controversial, and I'm gonna say it anyway. But my number 1 artist of 2023 is John Summit, and love him, hate him, however you feel about him. You talked about him this year. You heard his name somewhere this year. He has done so many things. It's crazy. And just talking music wise alone, his track Where You Are came out this year, which I feel like it's been out longer than that, but you couldn't go to a festival or live show without hearing that. There's been so many amazing remixes of it, and I feel like it has to be one of the like most played songs of the year. Then he remixes Cascade's track I Remember. He released Fade Out with MK, and then towards the end of the year, he released Legacy, and his newest track is Hungover. Loved all of them. Really, really excited about the music that he's been putting out. He has over 500 million Spotify global streams. He's played sold out stadium shows, which again, we're talking sold out stadium shows for a dance music artist. You have people like Illenium doing that, who's got like a full live band and like he's playing trilogy shows with all his different albums. Like this is John Summit, who's relatively new. Like he blew up at the start of 2020. So he's still very young in his career. To play sold out stadium shows is a huge fucking deal. He was supporting KX5, Deadmau5, and Cascade's project, which is like insane. So you have these massive dance music artists who have been around forever who are like supporting him or bringing him on. He obviously already had his label Off the Grid. After a legal battle, had to change the name of it. So now it was rebranded to Experts Only this year. And they've been releasing some amazing music on his label. Another thing I just want to touch on with him is I think like he's very smart about going in and out of genres. Like there's nothing he's afraid of doing, and I appreciate that part of his personality. Like he isn't afraid to just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna like throw some dubstep or like bass music in here. I'm gonna go play back-to-backs with Subtronics and we're gonna form Subjonics. Like I'm gonna go over to Lost Lands. Like he just doesn't care, and I really like that part of him, that doesn't take genres like too seriously. Like he is open to experimenting and doing different things, and I think that really works out in his favor. And I think that from a business perspective, it's also smart because not only do you have like house and techno heads loving him, now you're introducing your music to bass heads as well. So that's really amazing. He launched his own radio show on Sirius XM this year. He played sold out Red Rock shows. He played the Caverns. He did an amazing interview on Apple Music with Zane Lowe. He was a regular at Space in Miami playing marathon sets for like however many hours long. He launched his project Everything Always with Dom Dalla. Yeah, honestly, I could go on and on about things he's done, but really I just fully enjoy his music. And I think if you see him live, like you will get it. So if you are not on board with John Summit yet, I think you just need to like experience his music live. And I just appreciate his authenticity online. Yeah, like he just says how it is. He's himself, and I just really enjoy that. So I had to give my number one spot to John Summit this year because I just really enjoyed what he put out, and I'm very excited to see what he does next, especially if he goes, in and out of different genres and kind of like experiments with that. I'm excited to see what he does. So those were my top 5 artists of 2023. Now I want to give you my honorable mentions because like I said, there were so many other really incredible people I wanted to mention, and I didn't just want to like narrow it down to 5. So these are in no particular order. I'm going to start with Subtronics. So yes, she's got some bass music on here, fam. I know you think of me as just a house and techno head, okay, but we got some other genres in here. I'm expanding my horizons, okay? So Subtronics, because the man's career, like he has cemented himself as a major festival headliner. He has such a big cult following at this point. He was the Best of DJ Mag's North America winner. He again did his whole thing with John Summit where they did their like Subjonics back-to-backs. He's got his own event called Cyclops Dome. He's currently working on a second album to put out. He got married this year. Like he just had a big year personally and professionally, and I feel like I couldn't go anywhere without hearing about Subtronics or running into fans of his or anything. So I think we're going to see a lot more of Subtronics in the future. Alice in Wonderland, again, I talked about her in my best headlines of 2023 episode. Loved everything she did, again, on her own. And then she also dropped an album with her alias White Fang. That album was incredible. We'll talk about it in a little bit. She played EDC Las Vegas 9 months pregnant. She's a fucking powerhouse. Slayed 2023. So happy for you, mother. Then I have Azeka. Azeka, I talked about her last year. I think she was in my artist to watch last year. But she absolutely popped off and made the most of 2023 as I expected her to. But she was one of my favorite artists to listen to music-wise. So on SoundCloud, I have a bunch of her sets saved that she's done this year. She played Electric Forest and had an amazing showing for that. And then her 3 tracks, I would say, Tell That Boy, Ego Death, and You Fool. All love them. Tell That Boy definitely towards the end of the year I feel like really popped off. I know John Summit dropped that track in his Arc Music Festival set So we're going to see big things out of Azeka. Another artist for me personally is Noizu. I feel like Noizu doesn't get talked about enough or hyped up enough, but just pure like music wise, he's one of my favorite artists to listen to, like favorite house artists. And 3 of my favorite tracks this year were his tracks Lost, Burn In, and Push to Start with West End. I just can't get enough of him. I really, really love him as a producer, and it's just something that I can like listen to in my everyday life. And I just really enjoy his music, his live sets, and everything. So I wanted to shout him out because I feel like the music he put out this year was fantastic. Another one is Dimension. Dimension was in my Spotify Wrapped. It was my top song of the year. Drum and bass is on the come up in the United States. It's much bigger elsewhere, but I feel like it's getting there here, and people are finally like getting on the drum and bass train. And Dimension is one of those artists, again, like really electrifying sets in person. So I have to shout him out. And then of course Fred again. I want to put him in here. I don't personally listen to him a lot. I'm gonna like confess that I don't really listen to his music too much, but I respect his project and what he does as an artist and how unique he is. Also just again, like beautiful soul, awesome person, just seems like the happiest go luckiest guy. So he had massive success with his own album. Again, all of the collaborations he did with Fortet and Skrillex this year. His track Rumble with Skrillex blowing up, like he really took over dance music in the last few years. So I feel like we can't talk about like best of dance without having Fred again in the conversation. So that is going to round out all of my top artists of 2023. Now I want to talk about our breakout stars. And again, I just want to plug the playlist because even if I'm not mentioning like specific tracks from these people, I'm going to like pull my favorite tracks. So they will all be in the playlist if you guys want to listen. Okay, so I'm really excited about this category because these again are people that I feel like just their names are really high up in conversations. So should I start from number 5 again? Okay, I'll start from number 5. My number 5 breakout artist of 2023 is Mau P. I talked about him a lot last year as well. Coming off of the high of his track Drugs from Amsterdam, he cemented himself as like a major house music act to follow. Some of his sets have been some of my favorites to listen to this year. And then 3 of his tracks, Give Me That Bounce, played that like so fucking much at the beginning of the year. Your Mind Is Dirty, and then Metro was like one of my top played tracks of the year as well. I just love his sound. Like if you guys are into tech house, I think you'll really, really enjoy him. But I just feel like reminiscent of John Summit, like he's just going to be a name that's going to like blow up and be that big at some point. So keep an eye on Mau P. Another breakout act this year, number 4, I have ISO. So he is like one of these DJs. When I look at him, I'm like, okay, he is like the next generation of DJs, like this really eclectic, super like artistic artists that are coming out. He's played a bunch of sold out shows with Knock 2. He had his Kids Gone Mad album and tour this year. He's supported Skrillex with a lot of shows. So ISO I feel like is one of those names that maybe you didn't hear of before, and then 2023 kind of was like everywhere. Same with Azeka. We talked about Azeka again, but I'm going to put her in here. She was on my artist to watch last year. This year, she's in my top artist and my breakout artist because, again, I feel like she's just fucking killed it. She's released on labels like Higher Ground, Diplo's label. She's played some major festival sets that just continue to get bigger and better. And then her track Tell That Boy was like a really big hit at the end of the year. And then my number 2 breakout star is going to go to Peggy Gou because how, again, could it not? You could not go anywhere this summer without hearing her track. It goes like na 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 na. Like it just is so infectious. And I kept wondering all summer, I was like, we haven't had a song of summer. Like nothing really stuck out in my head. Take It Off by Fisher was kind of up there, but then Peggy Gou with this, that like really was the one. So she's like, for anybody who's not familiar, Peggy Gou has been here. Like she's been around. I just personally feel like she was catapulted to another fucking level in 2023 because I feel like she's very, very big internationally in the house scene. But 2023 is like, okay, now like Peggy Gou is like a household name. Like you know her, you've heard her fucking tracks. So that's why I'm putting her as a breakout artist this year. because I just feel like she catapulted to a different level than she's been before. Also just collaborated with Lenny Kravitz on her new track, so definitely check that one out. And then my number one breakout star of the year has to go to Knock 2. Again feel like he just completely blew up. He was playing major festivals this year, played an awesome back-to-back with Dylan Francis. He also hit virality with his track Dash Star, then released his Room 202 EP this year. He is pushing boundaries. Did you just see I spit? Oh my God. I hope you didn't see that in the video. I just spit so bad. Oh my God. Anyway, moving on. He's pushing boundaries with his music. He's got this like really incredible trap sound, but he also does like bass house. It kind of just goes effortlessly in between genres, and I'm so fucking here for trap coming back. Like, we needed a revival of it. I believe he's like a self-taught producer, so other DJs and artists like love him and think like his style is really, really cool. And again, similar to ISOXO, I feel like he's like really representing this next generation of DJs and producers. Gotta shout all those guys out. Now I'm gonna take a super quick break. I'm gonna grab some water here, you guys, and then I want to chat a little bit about one of our sponsors, Groove Cruise. All right, fam, before we go any further, I just wanted to give a shout out to Groove Cruise. If you guys did not see, they opened their bookings for 2025. This is going to be the biggest cruise ship festival in history. So they booked the Allure of the Seas, which is an absolutely massive cutting edge cruise ship. There's 18 decks, 11 stages. It's gonna be 96 hours of nonstop partying and music. So I think it was like a capacity of 5,400 people. Like, it's insane. So they officially have their bookings open if you guys want. There's everything from interior rooms, balcony suites to like, more expensive suites if you got bigger groups of people. You guys can save $50 off per person per room with code raveculturecast. All one word, no spaces, raveculturecast. So if you have a quad, you'll save up to $200 off of that quad with code raveculturecast. So if you guys want to book that now, definitely check it out. I'm going on the 2024 cruise and I can't wait. Just everything is exciting me about it. Like, all of the different themes they do for day and night, so you guys can dress up, like go all out with it. There's artist activities, there's events, workshops, like all kinds of fun shit that you can do. And then you have a private island party in Labadee, Haiti that you guys are going to be docking at. So definitely feel free to check out Groove Cruise 2025. It's in January. So it's a great time of year if you guys have you want to go someplace warm, if you have birthdays, engagements, weddings, people get married on Groove Cruise, like all kinds of crazy shit. So I just wanted to shout them out, and that will be linked down below if you guys want to book your rooms. Okay. Let's keep this moving. So let's get into our top tracks of the year. So again, I'm going to talk about what was on Spotify and then what I personally chose. So according to my Spotify, my number 5 track was Illenium and Avril Lavigne's Eyes Wide Shut. My number 4 was Rufus Du Sol, You Were Right. Number 3 was Azeka, Ego Death. And number 2 was Hayden James, Elderbrook, Cassian, On Your Own. And number 1 was Dimension, Where Do We Go? So lots of thoughts on that. The fact that I had a drum and bass song as my number 1 was fucking wild to me, but I loved that track. That's why Dimension was one of my favorite artists of the year. So I completely agree with these tracks. Not all of these were released in 2023 though, so that's kind of why I wanted to pull some of my favorite tracks. So there's probably so much more than this, but I would say these 10 were like earworms. Like, I listened to them a lot, and I'm going to link them all so you can listen. Actually, I'm going to play clips of these, sorry. So I feel like John Summit, Where You Are just has to be on this list because it just was like literally everywhere, and probably out of all the tracks he's put out, like that one was one of like the most viral that he did. And I just feel like when you hear it and when you see it live, like you just belt it out at the top of your fucking lungs. So John Summit, Where You Are, these are in no order, guys. I didn't like order these 1 to 10 or anything, but Dimension, Where Do You Go? I'm going to mention it again. So the story with this is I heard it as like an unreleased ID in his EDC Orlando 2022 set, and I was like, what is this? I need it. I love it. What is it? And my friend was like, it's not released yet. So I just sat there for months, like waiting for this friggin' track to come out. And then it was finally dropped in February, I want to say. So like the full beginning of 2023, like all I listened to was Dimension. And I clearly binged that enough that it was my number one track of the year. So we love that track. The vocals on it are amazing. Then I have Lane 8, his track Rave. I love Lane 8 on so many different levels. Like he's just one of those beautiful artists that like makes me emotional when I see him. It's just so vibey. I can listen to it. Like I used to put it on in the background, some of his sets when I was like trying to get work done. I just wanted to like focus. It's like that, but then also when you see him in person, it's just like this beautiful experience. Like when he does his tour, you have to either like put your phone in a case and they like lock it, or they cover your camera because it's called This Never Happened. He doesn't want you to be distracted by like your phone and recording. You should just be like present in the moment. So there's just so many beautiful things about Lane 8, but his track Rave just like hits so good and I absolutely love it. I don't know, it's just like very different. So you guys gotta listen to Rave by Lane 8. Destination by Max Styler was another one. When he dropped it, I was like mind blown. And I'm pretty sure Gorgon City played this in their Project Low set, and the whole crowd like fucking erupted, and everyone was like, what is this track? And little old me was sitting there, I was like, it's Max Styler. I was like, I love this song. So Max Styler, he's an amazing tech house artist. Destination was up there. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to put in Azeka. I know Ego Death was in my top Spotify, so I'm going to recommend Tell That Boy. I've mentioned it a couple times, but Tell That Boy, like the drop in it is just like, ooh, it gives me like goosebumps. Then I have to go with Maddox, and I don't know if it's Fellas, but Maddox's track, My Gasoline, also probably one of the most played tracks that like popped off towards the end of the year. He's a techno artist. Oh God, it's just so good. I think actually John Summit opened his ARC Music Festival set with My Gasoline, and it like popped off. But yeah, that one is just like very, very heavy hitting. It's just like a club banger. It's really great. I'm going to have to say Fisher, Take It Off. I think that was probably like one of my favorite tracks of summer for sure. And it's just like a really infectious, fun house music track. This collaboration between Walker and Royce, Glass Pedals, and Elohim, Stop Time. A lot of these are like bangers. I just want to dance. I just want to dance and shake my booty, guys. Okay. And this one from the three of them was just like underrated. So Stop Time by Walker and Royce, Glass Pedals, and Elohim. Absolute favorite. I would say Heartless by Gorgon City. Another one of my favorite producers. Their music, all of their albums have just been favorites of mine. I feel like they're an absolute staple you can't go wrong with. And from their new album, Heartless was one of like my top played tracks. And I don't know, I just really, really like it. I think the vocals on it are really beautiful. So definitely wanted to mention that one. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me see if it has the vocals listed. I feel like it's probably Drama because they work with Drama a lot. Unless it's not listed on here. Oh no, it's Raw. RAHH is the vocalist on it. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, Drama was on Lost and Found on that album. That one was really, really good. And Voodoo. Sorry. Okay, lots of recommendations. Go listen to that album. And then lastly, Chris Lorenzo's Pump. This was another one. Like, I saw him at Okeechobee, and it was one of my favorite sets. Like, him live is so good. I've never danced so hard. Like, absolutely incredible. And Pump was another just, like, house banger that came out this year. So a lot of house music on the top tracks. Sorry, guys, but that's just like what I enjoy listening to. And I would say these 10 tracks were like definitely things I played like so many times. All right, let's get into top collaborations. Okay, so for top collabs, I have a lot. So I'm going to like breeze through these. So Dom Dalla and Nelly Furtado, Eat Your Man. We've already discussed this. Metro, which was Kevin DeVries and Mau P. Again, more in that like melodic house vein. Like, ooh, it just was a really, really amazing collaboration. We've already talked about Skrillex, Peekaboo, Flodem, and Beam. Hydrate. There's just something about it. Like, I don't know, like Peekaboo's influence in it as well. Like the wubs of that track when you hear it live are so good. And I just like loved the like combination of Skrillex and Peekaboo and then like the track, the vocals. So Hydrate was like definitely up there with top collaborations this year. I'm going to go with Illenium and Avril Lavigne because that was my top 5 track of the year. Eyes Wide Shut. His album in general just hit on that like nostalgic high school feeling for me because I was such like a pop punk alternative like music fan, and a lot of that was on his album. So like having Avril's vocals, like I just binge listened to Eyes Wide Shut so many times because it gave me more pop punk than it gave me like melodic bass or dubstep. So love that one. Noizu and West End's Push to Start, like as far as house music goes, two of my favorite house artists, and that collaboration together was just like a really, really fun track. Medusa and Eli and Fur's track Pegasus was another one I listened to a ton this year. I'm like a big fan of Medusa. I like love their music, and I feel like they're just really, really incredible producers, and everything they come out with is fire. So this collaboration with Eli and Fur was like top notch for me. Anima and Grimes has to be up there. Welcome to the Opera. This was another one that they were teasing for a while in their sets. So when this one finally dropped, I listened to it so many times. Grimes' vocals are just like super like hauntingly beautiful. And, you know, Anima / Tale of Us like popped off even more so this year, like leading the charge in like the melodic techno scene. So that was a vibe. Odd Mob and Omnom Losing Control. Again, like killing it in the house music scene. Odd Mob is definitely like popping off right now, but Losing Control was like a really, really big one. I know John Summit put a lot of support behind that. And then my last two, I would say Kalina Xanders and Shift Key, their track Vibration. You can't top Kalina Xanders' vocals. You cannot top them. She is the most like soulful, powerful singer. And this track was so fun and dancey and vibey, and I loved it. And she is just a beautiful human being. So I was a big fan of like a lot of what Kalina Xanders put out this year, but this one in particular was a favorite of mine. And then lastly, Dylan Francis from his new album, him, Alesso, and Clementine Douglas, their track Free. I feel like I hear more of like Alesso's influences in it, where it's more of like a progressive housey kind of sound, but it just was like such like a banger, and it was like unexpected to hear that on Dylan Francis's album, and I really, really enjoyed that collaboration between the three of them. So definitely check out Free by Dylan Francis, Alesso, and Clementine Douglas. All right, guys, we're almost done. We're wrapping up. Okay, top albums of the year that I will touch on. We've mentioned a couple of these already, so I'm going to say, so Dylan Francis, this mixtape is fire. 2, I've loved him for years. Like when I think back to getting like into dance music, I feel like Dylan Francis was one of like the first big people I just like used to love to see live, and it's really cool to see his career like develop and the sound that he comes out with now. And he's a really amazing producer. Everything from his branding to his socials, like everything is so fun. So I really, really enjoyed the collaborations he had on this album. And then the individual tracks are amazing too. Like I just mentioned, Free. Quest for Fire, obviously Skrillex, we've talked about it already. It just lived up to the expectation of what I thought he would come back with. And it was like him just elevated to a new level. So I really, really enjoyed his album. Genesis from White Fang. Again, Alice in Wonderland's new alias. Kind of exploring this darker side to her, and it's trap, it's techno, it's like, you know, just electronic sounds to it, but it's got really cool like visuals, and she said it was like allowing her to explore a like darker, more mysterious side of herself that she hasn't explored with Alice in Wonderland. So I really, really liked the Genesis album, in particular the track 333. Salvation from Gorgon City, like I mentioned, the track Heartless. They never disappoint me with their albums. I love them. I feel like that's something I can put on from like the first track, listen to the whole thing through, and it just like is just beautifully done. So I really, really enjoyed it like front to back. And then Illenium, his album Illenium, again, this touched on a different note for me. This had a lot of like that like rock, alternative, pop punk energy to it, which I know he loves. So any of his collaborations, the one with Said the Sky as well, was so good. So I really, really liked this. And then, like I said, Illenium was my number one artist of 2023 on Spotify, which I was shook by because I've loved him for a long time, but I'm not like a hardcore Illenial, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh shit, I must have like really binge listened to that album, like more so than I thought, but it was really, really good. And then I want to throw out honorable mention to Jaws's album Rise of the Wise, because I thought that was a really nice exploration that was like a little bit more house-y for him. So that one was really, really great as well. Okay, quick break here, and then guys, we're going to get into your submissions and wrap this thing up. So lastly, I just wanted to give a shout out to one of my favorite rave wear brands, Rolita Couture. If you guys need new outfits for any upcoming festivals you've got in the winter, January, February, March even, Rolita makes rave wear that is sexy for every single size and body shape. They make you feel so good and comfortable. She has the most like amazing materials and collections, and we did a collaboration this year which was awesome that is still available if you guys want to check it out. She also just dropped a disco glitz collection, one that was more like fairy kind of inspired, so like really different vibes to all of them depending on what you're looking for, but she's got all kinds of silhouettes. Again, depending on your comfort, if you want to show more skin, less skin, there's something for you. So wanted to shout out Rolita Couture. You guys can always save 15% off with code EmmaK. So 15% off Rolita Couture with code EmmaK. Alrighty, you guys. Let's get into your results. I probably should have done these category by category now that I think about it, but that's all right. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my Typeform here. All right, fam, I'm just going to read through these. So your top artists of the year, we've got John Summit, Fred Again, Griffin, LS Dream, Grizz, Dom Dalla, Acraze, nice, Eric Prydz, hello, we didn't even talk about Prydz in this episode, don't even get me started. Gareth Emery, Dom Dalla, Subfocus, Lane 8, Amorphic, Elenium, Slander, lots of John Summit, lots of Knock 2, James Hype, Darude, okay, I see you, Subfocus, yep, White Fang, Charlotte DeWitt, Black Tiger, Sex Machine, Lost Frequencies, SG Lewis, Anima, Sarah Landry, another one we're going to talk about, Seven Lions, Blue Claire, Skrillex, KX5, Martin Garrix, Grizz, Closey. So I'm out of all of these, I'm seeing the most John Summit. I'm seeing a lot of Grizz. I'm seeing a lot of Skrillex. And I would say Knock 2. There's a lot of on here, and Lane 8. So those are kind of like the artists that like represent you guys. Your favorite track of the year. I'm going to like pick a couple out of here. Where You Are, John Summit. Gonna Be Good by Madeon. That's a good one. Take It Off by Fisher. Voodoo. I'm assuming that's by Gorgon City. A lot of Where You Are. Ready to Fly, Subfocus and Dimension. That's a great one. You Make Me, Anima and Rufus Du Sol, unreleased. Ooh, shit. Walk Me Home by Said the Sky. Hollow, Cranked Out Remix. Fade Out. Atlantis by White Fang. Eat Your Man, Dom Dalla and Nelly Furtado. Jungle by Alec, Chainsmokers and Mace Stevens. Sacrifice by KX5. That one was a really, really, really good one. Samsara by Anima. We have a lot of Anima on here. My Gasoline by Maddox. Under Pressure, Andrew Bayer and Farius remix. Miracle by Calvin Harris. That was another really, really good one that came out this year. A lot of Sacrifice by KX5. I would agree with that. Hollow by Dabin and Kaiwachi. Rumble by Fred Again and Skrillex. A nice mix of genres in there, you guys. Favorite album of the year, I would say I'm seeing the most of KX5. I should have talked about them more. Sorry, guys. KX5, great. I'm glad you guys put it up. Quest for Fire. There's a lot of Quest for Fire. Elenium. Alive by Griffin. Forgot that came out this year. That was a great one. Evolve by Subfocus. Beyond the Veil, Seven Lions was last year. It was towards the end of 2022, but we will count it. Genesis by White Fang. Rabbit Hole Circus by Marcus Schultz. Infinity, Arl Grime Play. Lane 8's Fall Mixtape. That's also really good. Not an album, but that's fantastic. Ganja White Night, Unity, Ganja White Night. Yeah, a lot of that. Okay, cool. Your favorite collaborations, Ready to Fly, Subfocus and Dimension. We got some drum and bass love. Over Now, Seven Lions and Above and Beyond. That one was a really, really good collab. I love any time that they come together. Rhyme Dust. A lot of Rhyme Dust on here. Dom Dalla and MK. We have Under Construction, Fisher and Chris Lake. Riot 10 and Amorphic. James Hype and Tita Lau. What else? On My Love, Zara Larsson and David Guetta. Butterflies by Skrillex, Stara, Fortet. KX5, Subtronics, Back to Back Excision. Tale of Us. Seven Lions Killed the Noise, Moonlight we have. Pangborn, House Mafia, Skrillex, Fred Again, Fortet. Ellis Dream and Singara. Yep, that's a good one. Sullivan King and Excision. I Will Leave a Light On, Lay Youth and Lane 8. Awesome. Okay. Then I'm going to do who was your favorite new artist discovery of this year. So I really like this one because it's like they may not be a new artist in general, but to you, like you discovered them. So we've got Jero, Bunt, Nostalgics, Daily Bread, Azeka, Joy Anonymous, Nia Archives, Wax Motif. Yo, Wax Motif's been here. I'm just kidding. Eli Brown, Essel, Eli Brown again, Smokeland, Altigo, Reaper, Tsunami, Bunt, James Hype, ISOXO, Mau P, a lot. Sarah Landry, Maddox, Blue Claire. Blue Claire is fantastic. I absolutely love him. If you guys are into house music, definitely check out Blue Claire. Frankie Wass, Sunny Federa, Sarah Landry again. Yep. Ferric Dawn, Ian Snow. Awesome, you guys. Okay, and then artists you should have on your radar next year. Again, I'm going to do this as a separate episode, but this is what you guys said. So Sultan and Shepherd, which they came out with a new album, I believe, and they're going on tour next year. So definitely want to see Sultan and Shepherd. Bunt. A lot of you guys said Bunt. Okay, I need to check out who Bunt is. Nostalgics, Daily Bread, Dimension, Cyclops, Imanu, DJ Ray, Noctu, Braxton Wilkinson, Wookie, Wooly, all the W's. Monolink, Bennett, Maddox, Max Low. Yes, I have to shout out Max Low. They're like an awesome house music DJ duo. Barclay Crenshaw. Yes. Claude Von Stroke's new bass music project. Barclay Crenshaw. Yes. Dream Takers, Sippy, Super Future, Christina Sky. Okay, and then I just threw this one in there for fun. I wanted to like put this out there. It isn't necessarily like EDM related music-wise, but I asked you what your favorite festival was just because I was curious what you guys like thought of this year and like the production and everything like that. So these are the festivals that you said were your favorite. We have ARC, EDC Orlando, Dream State, Dusk in Arizona, Elements, EDC Vegas, a couple times, Ultra, Grizz's Festival, EDC Orlando again, Forbidden Kingdom, Lost Lands, EDC, Zombie Apocalypse, ARC again, Lost Lands, eForest, EDC Vegas, Base Canyon, Tomorrowland, EDC, The Cruise, Forest, ARC, Dream State, Bonnaroo, Tomorrowland or ARC, EDC Vegas, Forest, Groove Cruise, Vegas, Tomorrowland, Sewanee Halloween, Tomorrowland, Forest, Lost Lands, Forest, and Wakan, Coachella. So a lot of Forest, a lot of Vegas, a lot of ARC, a lot of Lost Lands. So it's just cool to see what you guys like really enjoy and what festivals are kind of like speaking to you right now. But that is it, fam. We made it to the end of our Best of EDM. To be continued. So definitely tune in to my artists to watch in 2024. I want to do this as a fully separate episode because I'm super excited to dive into all of these acts and I have a lot of music to suggest to you guys. So one thing you can do for me that would be amazing is you can share this. So make this your Instagram stories. Just share this to your stories and send a link out. I really appreciate you guys spreading the word about Rave Culture Cast. You can connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. Come join our Facebook group community, our Discord. We just did like a live get together last week. That was awesome to see you guys. So thank you for hopping on that and coming to say hi. And again, it's been such an incredible year, to just produce this podcast again and then be able to take a maternity leave and come back and like be back in the swing of things feels so good. So I hope you guys are enjoying what came out this month and you have a lot to look forward to in January. So I'm super excited about new episodes, new interviews, all of the good stuff. So if you haven't already, rate, review, subscribe, and I hope you have a very, very happy new year. Thank you guys so much for listening and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye guys.